Hello, welcome to a new video. Today I am doing a recommendations video with a bit of a twist. This is not a completely original idea. I have seen many people do these videos that are like, if you like this, read this. But I wanted to make it a bit Halloweeny and I haven't actually seen this. So I am going to do, if you like this Halloween film, here's some books. So for each one of these films, I've got 3 books and then 3 books that I've read and then a book that has been recommended to me at some point or another by someone or multiple people that would also fit the theme of the film. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be exactly like the film. It could be one little aspect of the film, which I will explain for each and every one of them. But I picked a few really cool Halloween films. I've seen people do this with horror films. I don't really watch horror films. I like spooky, not horror. So yeah. So the first movie is The Craft. I love this movie. I've not seen it in years, so I think I'm going to have to rewatch it this year. But for me, this film is about covens, female friendships, and powerful women. So the 3 books that I have recommended for this one is The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page. This is like a sorority of witches, but they are essentially a coven. There's some very powerful women in this, and the female friendships are just amazing. But I absolutely loved this book and highly recommend. Next up, we have The Wicked Deep by Shea Ernshaw. Now this one has powerful women. It doesn't really have a coven, but it does have, I believe it's 3 sisters, and they are all very powerful. So this works if those are the vibes that you want. And then the 3rd book is Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. This is literally all of the things that you get from The Craft. It has covens of witches. It has some amazing female friendships, especially between witches and other species as well. I really enjoy that. And it has a lot of powerful women, including the main character. So this ticks all those boxes. And then whilst I have not read this personally, Ash has recommended The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. This has powerful women and it does have like magic. I don't know if it's specifically witches. I'm not sure. But it has magic, so it has powerful women, and I'm gonna guess some female friendships. So yeah. Okay, so the next film is Practical Magic, and the main thing that I get from this film is sisters and witches. So the first book is, of course, Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is about 3 sisters, and they are, you guessed it, witches. This is beautifully written. I absolutely adore this and I fell in love with the characters so much. Next up is Slayer by Kirsten White. Now this doesn't, I can't actually remember if this does have witches in it. This is a continuation of Buffy the Vampire Slayer though, the TV show. So I'm gonna guess it does have witches in it. I just cannot remember because it's been so long since I read it. I can't remember that little fact, but the main character does have a twin sister, and a lot of the story is based around their relationship and things that happen with them. So I'm gonna say it works. And then the 3rd book is Extasia by Claire Legrand. This is witches. It has sisters. It has covens. It is slightly more on the horror side, but I really enjoyed this and it is not for everyone. I know a few people have DNF'd it and I completely get the reasoning behind it. I personally absolutely loved it and thought it was brilliant. And then the recommendation was Mina and the Undead by Amy McCaw. So this is about sisters. So it fits the sisters prompt. Literally the first line of the blurb is Mina arrives in New Orleans to visit her estranged sister Libby. So there we go. Next up is Hocus Pocus, which is honestly probably my favourite Halloween movie ever. Me and my mum watch it every single Halloween season at least once. Usually on Halloween. If not, it's the day before or the day after, but we always watch it at least once. So for this, my main thing is children go missing. Obviously, to the people watching, we know exactly where the kids have gone, but the parents don't know this. All they know is that their kids are going missing. So for this, I'm going with The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. This has got witchy vibes. If you are used to reading V.E. Schwab, just go into this knowing it was Schwab's debut. So it's not on the same level of writing as the other books, but some mysterious person shows up and then children start going missing in the night. So it fits the vibe. Then we have The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry. This is so creepy. I love this. And this is specifically someone was found in the woods with their heart torn out and no one was ever caught, but then a year later bodies of 2 girls are discovered. So 2 girls have gone missing and then their bodies are discovered, and it is so creepy. And there's like a monster, or is there? I'm being very vague about it because I didn't know much going into this, and it's the best way, but definitely this book. Then we have a graphic novel. So we have Die by Kieran Gillen. This group of kids play a game of D&D and in true Jumanji style get sucked into the game. They come out, but not all of them come out. So we have children going missing. This is amazing, and if you want a really quick read, this is perfect. I do need to continue this series. I have volume 2. I need to get the others because this was incredible. And then the recommendation for this was again from Ash. There is a theme here. And it is Rules for Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall. This is about a girl whose sister has gone missing a year before. And there's like ghosts. And I'm here for it. I'm really excited. I'm actually going to be reading this in October. Perfect vibes. The next movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas. This is one of my absolute favourites. I watch it every year throughout Halloween and Christmas multiple times. And my main thing I take from this is Sally, who's an amazing character, and she is underestimated. So for this one, we are going for underestimated women. So first up, we have Winterwood by Cher Earnshaw. This is beautifully atmospheric. I absolutely adore this. And the main character is underestimated so much. And it's just, yes. Then we have The Twisted Tree by Rachel Burge. This is more of, whilst this, I would count this as like a little thriller mystery, but also it has a lot of like Norse mythology in it, and it is so interesting and it is so beautiful. I absolutely adore this, and I have read the sequel as well, and it is just as beautiful. And then we have Malice by Heather Walter. So this is essentially a retelling of Maleficent, and the main character is a dark fairy like Maleficent. And if you're going to go on that basis, Maleficent is underestimated. Like, they don't invite her to the party, and then they don't think it's going to be a big deal, but they underestimate just how petty she can be, and I'm here for it. So yeah, Malice. And then the recommendation for this is actually, I'm recommending it even though I haven't read it yet, but it is an author that you've already seen twice on here, and I am going to be reading it this year. It is Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Cher Earnshaw. Of course, this was going to be the recommendation. It's a literal Sally retelling. This is apparently, I think this takes place after, yes, this takes place after the movie. I am so excited to read this, and I need the Sally in my life. So next up was World War Z. Now, I really wanted to do a film with zombies, and do you know what? I genuinely could not think of any zombie films that aren't comedies. It took me so long to remember this one exists, because my brain was going Warm Bodies, Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, and I was like, I cannot use any of those. Well, I mean, I could, because for this, it is literally just zombies. So all of those films, really, because I love all of them. But World War Z is very good, but it's just not a comedy zombie film. But for this, I'm recommending Tokyo Ghoul I have only read volume 1 of this, but it has major, so ghouls are essentially zombies. They are essentially zombies. They're just called ghouls. So it has the zombie vibes, and I'm just so here for it. Next up is The Girl in Red by Christina Henry. Now, this isn't technically a zombie book. However, it has the vibes of a zombie book. There has been like this like crisis, they call it. And I don't want to say too much because I didn't know a lot about this when I read it, and the ending just shook me. But it has the vibes, and that's the main thing. And then the final book is Zombie by Darren Shan. I love this series. It is not my favourite Darren Shan series, but it's not my least favourite either. I really love this series. It's a long series, but if you want some zombie vibes, these are all very short books. There's about, I think there's 10 books in the series, but they're all ridiculously short. And like, look at those margins and the size of the writing. You'll get through these in no time. They're so good. And then the recommendation is Wranglestone by Darren Charlton. Now, I've had a few people say this is not a good book. However, I've had a lot of people say it's a good book. They just weren't a fan of it, and they think I would really enjoy it. But it has zombies, and that's all I care about, and a pretty cover. So, yeah. Next, we are on to quite possibly one of my favourite films ever, and that is Queen of the Damned. This film's amazing. I hated Interview with Vampire. Granted, it's because it's got Tom Cruise in it and it was just a bad film, but this film, come out wherever you are, see you all in Death Valley. One of my favourite films. Me and my mum have watched it so much. We watch it, we can talk along with it, we recite it, we know that film word for word. Anyway, obviously for this it's going to be vampires, and I've got some vampire books for you. So first up we have The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. I really enjoyed this book, and I'm going to be continuing the series very soon. It's 1800s something. It's New Orleans. It is the perfect, if you like the Originals TV show as well, read this. It has that vibes as well. Just vampires. It wouldn't be one of my videos if I didn't manage to squeeze in a J. Kristoff book, would it? Empire of the Vampire. This book is amazing, and it's got like the sexy brooding vampires, and I'm like here for it. My voice is starting to go. I apologize. And then the final of the three, if you want a bit of spice, we've got Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert. If you're looking for a really beautifully written book with lots of plot that definitely makes sense, then this is not the book for you. However, if you just want a bit of vampire smart, this book, Katie Robert is the best. Like, she is my favorite smart writer, and it's vampires, so yes. And then the recommendation was again from Ash. I'd never actually heard of this book, and I read the blurb when Ash was telling me about it, and I was like, actually, I kind of want to read this. And it is Sunshine by Robin McKinley. I can't really tell you anything about it, but it has vampires in it, and honestly, that's all I care about. And then finally, who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters, of course. Another classic. Obviously, ghosts are very spooky. Ghostbusters is ghosts. So we're going for books with ghosts or spirits or those sorts of vibes. So first up we have Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. This is one of the perfect books for this time of year. I read it a few years back and absolutely adored it. The main character summons a spirit, and if you don't know anything more than that, feel free to go look this book up because it is incredible and I love it. Next we have the Cassidy Blake series by V.E. Schwab, which the first book is of course City of Ghosts. This is perfect if you are not a massive fan of like horror, but you want something like spooky with ghosts. This is really creepy, but at a middle grade level, which is just exactly the type of level I want. And it's just so fun as well, and the adventures they go on are amazing. And then we have Ghostwood Song by Erica Walters. This is another one that is so beautifully written, and the atmospheric vibes of this is just insanely good. And there are ghosts. hence the Ghostwood song title. It is really good. It is creepy, and it's a YA, so it's not too creepy. There is a theme with the books I read. I don't do full horror unless it's Christina Henry. She is my exception. But this is amazing, and no one ever talks about it. And then the recommendation for this one is one that I hear so many people talk about, and I just haven't got round to it yet. And it is The Sad Ghost Club by Lisa Meddins. This is like just a cute little graphic novel. There is, I think, 3 books now in this series. But yeah, Sad Ghost Club. It's very cute looking, but I need to read this, so it's going on my recs. But that is all of my recommendations for films. I wish I could have continued doing this, but I feel like I would just exhaust options. I'm actually really sad that I cannot find a way to get contemporaries on here because there's no Ali Hazelwood on here. And I'm really sad, but it's fine. I recommend Ali Hazelwood on every other video, but a spooky one probably isn't gonna work. But I hope you have got some good recommendations. Let me know in the comments below if you've got any books that you think would also fit the vibes of any of these films. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.